Now on your weekend morning drive.
I know for a fact I played better today than I did on Thursday when I shot 9 under.
Surprise, surprise. While you were sleeping, Justin Thomas took a share of the lead with 1 round to play in South Korea. See how a member's bounce got him back on top. And we lay out his goals for the coming season after a record year.
It's the playoffs. That's all I got to say.
Meanwhile, Scott McCarron was all smiles in his attempt to chase down Bernhard Langer. But that was before this happened. Can he rebound over the weekend and learn from the rest of the pack who have a chance at stopping Langer's streak? And with golf all over the world, a long flight can really drag you down. Our doctor is in the house to tell you how to handle jet lag. It is Saturday, October 21st, 2017. Very good Saturday morning. It is Morning Drive from Studio AP. Gary Williams, Charlie Reimer. Charlie, I would normally be in a dour mood. Yankees got mowed down last night by the Astros. We got a lot of golf to talk about, but you know what? We have a new member to the Morning Drive family.
Yeah, we do.
Joining.
I'm very excited. I'm
You are?
selfish because I'm CR again. When she was here, it was Cara Robbins. She took my CR. Now it's Cara Banks. She's Cara Banks, and I'm CR again. Very happy.
Same person, new name.
She is a married, kept lady.
Yeah. Oh, well, here we go.
Oh,
right.
look, it's
2 weeks
wonderful.
ago, I became Mrs. Banks. So, yeah, same person, new name. And I'm 2 weeks into married life, guys. It's good to be back. It's
And by the way,
wonderful
you were
occasion.
not driving the car. He was.
Oh, yeah. We drive on the other side of the road.
Wow. What a magnificent wedding. Just beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, it was wonderful. Best time of our lives. I haven't stopped smiling for a few weeks. We just got back from a little honeymoon in Greece, but I'm back and ready to go back to work.
It was more than a little honeymoon in Greece. It seemed fantastic.
A few days. Yeah, it was nice. We had about 9 days there. The weather was great. Went scuba diving for the first time and enjoyed the views. It was great.
Well, we're so happy to have you back. It's Cara Banks, and Charlie's got his initials back on what we call our rundown. All right, so what is happening now? Well, the CJ Cup is going on in South Korea, and we've got 2 gentlemen who are tied at the top. The guy was leading after 18 holes. Justin Thomas had a very solid round. Interesting to note what he said after his round, and Scott Brown, who was 1 on the PGA Tour. He is also at 9 under par. So let's start with the highlights. Why don't we start with Jason Day, the par 4 8th, Charlie putting for birdie. These go in about 5% of the time on the PGA Tour.
Yeah, maybe a little less than that for Jason Day this calendar year. Not a lot of bright spots, but as the new season has dawned, I think this season's going to be pretty darn good for Jason Day.
Shot 71.
Speaking about good seasons, what about Mark Leishman? He won twice on the PGA Tour last season, Charlie. This is second at the 4th.
Playing with a ton of confidence. The big man has got a great golf swing. He's a phenomenal ball striker. He does that all day long, every day out on a PGA Tour.
Yeah, that would be a birdie for 71, and he's 2 off the lead.
You know, Scott, I mentioned that he is 1 on tour. He made $1.7 million last year. Charlie, what do you call it? Put meat in the pot?
Meat in the pot. That's what downtown Scotty Brown does. He does it with shots just like that. Really has had a nice year this year.
Yeah, would shoot 71. He's currently 9 under, tied for the lead.
Well, you heard it in our tease. JT shot a 63 on Thursday, Charlie, but he believes he played better today. This is third at the par 5 third.
Yeah, wind's a little tricky today. Players are having a hard time judging. It's sort of swirly, and you know, sometimes that happens. I remember that opening round. He had several hole outs from off the green. This third round was maybe a little more solid for him.
Now, here on the par 4 11th, his second. You can see it's blustery.
Yeah, this is pretty challenging little pitch. We're about to break that down a little bit. We'll see what we can learn from that pitch. It looked pretty easy, but there was a lot going on with that.
Got him back to 7 under par.
And we'll move ahead to the par 5 18th. An eagle opportunity. He has a few of these, Charlie. This one putting from the fringe.
A few? Are you kidding me? These guys hit it so far, and in particular, Justin. And we're going to take a little closer look at one of the reasons he hits it really far off the tee coming up as well. well. But that's what pros like as much as anything, a stress-free birdie.
Yeah, so he had a 63 Thursday, 74 Friday, and it was a third round 70 today. He is tied for the lead with Scott Brown at 9 under. No surprise to see Justin Thomas's name back on top again. Interestingly, Anaban Lahiri is part of a two-way tie for third alongside Mark Leishman. Anaban's fresh off a tie for 10th at the CIMB Classic last week and is still chasing his first victory on the PGA Tour. Something you might not know about Mark Leishman is that he spent a year on the Korean PGA Tour early in his career, actually won out there in 2006. So familiar territory for him maybe, Gary?
Yeah, and why don't we do a little watch and learn? And it's all about the right arm, like it was for Justin Verlander last night. Oh, Verlander. But let's focus on Justin Thomas.
Yeah, let's try to make pitching athletic. I mean, really, you're pitching a golf ball. It's like pitching a golf ball. It's very similar. So this shot, let me just set this shot up. He's got to go over this rise. He's got plenty of green to work with. He wants this to come in sort of medium low, and he wants it to release. So what does he want to do? It's like he's trying to pitch this ball. He wants it to come out low and let it run. Watch that right hand and that right arm. You see how it just sort of pitches just like you were throwing a ball, releases, runs it up there nicely. It's really not any more complicated than that, folks. And a lot of times you'll see pros sort of, as they work into a shot, you'll see them with this right hand just sort of thinking about how they would pitch a golf ball. Toss it underhanded, pretty simple. And this one, I just promised that we'd take a little closer look at this. Let me set this up. This is downwind. So when you get a downwind pitch, what does it do? It takes the spin off the golf ball. So you got to figure out a way to put a little extra spin on it to control it. He's also got this little hazard he's got to deal with. Downwind, he's got to get it up in the air. He's got to put some spin on it. He's got to land it out there a little bit to the right. So it'll make this look really easy, but it's pretty complicated. But before we roll it, again, he's pitching this ball and he's trying to put some spin on it. You can see it's a different hand action. It's like he's throwing his hand under, boom, sliding it right under. Let's go ahead and see it. Watch that right hand. You can see it's a much different action. You see that? That's one that he wanted to get some spin on. If you don't put spin on it, you're not going to be able to get it up over that hazard and stop it short of the hole. So get very, very athletic. Just think about how you would throw a ball and you just all of a sudden have a wedge in your hand instead.
All right, you got one more to show us. This is not with a wedge.
No, and we talk all the time, Gary, about how does someone who's physically not very big hit the golf ball.
He's big enough.
So far, I've figured it out. Go ahead and roll it. What you got to do if you want to hit it farther on a PGA Tour or where you play golf, aim for the cart path, right? So look at this. Boom. Right down the fairway. That's why he hits it so far. And this is really intimidating too because the guys ahead, they've been walking for a while, they've hit, and he runs it right in there behind them.
Okay.
So if you want to hit it farther, aim for the cart path.
Okay. Kevin Ryan, our researcher, I guarantee you he didn't hit one cart path off the tee all season.
He got that one, though.
315.
Well, he's 8th in driving distance, and he's that big. He's hitting cart paths. That's how he's doing it.
He's this big. All right, let's go back to Cara.
Yeah, also, Charlie, just be careful where you throw those balls. He nearly knocked out a few members of our crew in the studio this morning, and it's only 8 minutes past 7 here on the East Coast. But let's get to what else is happening now. And Joost Luiten has a one-shot lead heading into the weekend at the Andalucía Valderrama Masters hosted by the Sergio Garcia Foundation in Spain. The Dutchman's second round of 70 was highlighted by an albatross on the 11th hole at Rail Club Valderrama. So let's get to some of those highlights from yesterday. And we will start with the world number 5, John Rahm, playing, Charlie, as a professional for the first time in his home country, and it didn't go well.
John just out of sorts this week. Yeah, I mean, all season, his entire career, we've never seen him hit shots like he's hit this week.
Too much pressure, perhaps. He sadly missed the cut and won't be playing the weekend. 11-time tour winner Martin Kaymer had this second at the 8th.
Did you see the arms, how they folded up? I love that. That means he's released the golf club, but he keeps the club face slightly open. He hits a cut, but he has that wonderful release. Maybe it's something about being German because Langer has that same sort of arm fold. I just love that finish.
Nearly hold it out, but a birdie would be part of a second round 72. He is even par, but tournament host playing the second here at 9.
Well, that's just a little wedge for Sergio. He's a ball striker. That's a back hole location. He took that in there right to left, maybe a little bit lower than normal. He's not afraid of any golf shot. He shapes it left and right and hits it high and low, and it's a big advantage.
Well, that one would lead to a birdie, but this was a par save and he missed.
You see all the shadow on the green there, Cara? Sometimes that just makes your eyes really, really work hard to try and pick up the target. You get a little distracted.
Well, he would also 3-putt 16. Tricky day on the greens, but now to Joost Luiten. This, his second shot at the par 5 11.
Yeah, this is really cool. Playing uphill, going with what looked like maybe a 4 or 5 iron. Didn't overswing with it. Got it on a pretty good line. And again,
it's not an A.
He went in the right side of the hole, Gary. I like it when they go in the center.
Come on, wow, that was a blind shot as well. He can barely believe it. Playing partner
Right
Søren Kelton congratulates him. That gave him the lead at 7 under. We'll move ahead to the par 3 12th, and he's at the tee.
Watch how high he keeps his head. I love that. You keep your head high, you're going to have a great extension at the golf ball. So many people, that head drops, and the head drops, something else has got to make an adjustment. Keep your head high, you get great extension and really good contact.
That was nearly 2 hole outs.
Yeah, that's pretty good golf right there.
That was pretty good golf. Could he convert for the birdie?
That little camo pattern on the greens didn't bother him. You know, we see that every year, number 10 at Augusta. That's one of the reasons it makes that green so difficult to putt on.
So Joost Luiten is in search of European Tour win number 6, and he will play alongside Englishman Robert Rock in the final group at 8:10 a.m. Eastern Time today. Just ahead of them is tournament host Sergio Garcia. He will play alongside Scotland's Scott Jamieson, and you can watch live final round coverage right here on Golf Channel at the top of the hour. Gary?
All right, what else is happening now? Well, it's the first event in the Charles Schwab Cup playoffs, and Charlie, a shocking development. Again, Bernhard Langer is in a tie for the lead alongside Rocco Mediate, David Toms, Joe Duran. Let's take a look at some of the highlights. Rocco has started the week 65th in the standings. He's just crazy enough to make it to the next week.
He's delightfully crazy, our pal Rocco. I can't take my eyes off. He's a train wreck, Rocco is.
He shot 67. David Toms, his rookie year, he started the week 29th in the standings. Third shot, par 5, 16.
I'm a little surprised David hasn't had a better season. I really expect next year he's going to get after. He's going to have a multiple win season on PGA Tour Champions next year. He's just too good of a player not to.
Numero uno, starting the playoffs, Bernhard Langer going for his 4th straight Schwab Cup. Here's his 3rd on the 5th.
You see that arm fold?
Yes.
Just like Keimer, and the same kind of result. You got to let those arms fold in that follow-through. Beautiful from both of those players.
That would get him to 2 under par, now onto the 12th hole, putting for birdie from about 20 feet.
Yeah, imagine that. Langer putting with a method that I thought would never work, the unanchored anchor, going out, and he doesn't have any issues with it.
Scott McCarron started the week number 2. This is a peculiar situation, to say the least. A drop, that's not unusual. Now that is.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, you play golf, professional golf, amateur golf, 40 years, and this might happen to you once or twice in your career. Drop a club and have a hit a ball. He's got to replace it, and it's a 1-stroke penalty. Clearly, he wasn't very happy about his mistake.
He was not. Putting for birdie, though, on 18. Misses that. A very tough day to end his round. Shoots an even par round of 72. He's 5 shots back of the lead. And back to Bernhard Langer. He has his short birdie putt on the final hole.
Again, no issue. You know, and I'm the one that said it. I said, you know what? He might even quit. That might be the most wrong I've ever been about anything in my life.
I don't know about that.
I can't believe that he figured it out. I mean, I actually went and practiced that method, and he figured. I thought there's no way you can putt like that. And wow, has he figured it out.
Yeah, you did throw down a long putter right over there and said it's useless.
I thought it was. It is for me. It's not for him.
Let's get back to Scott McCarron. The circumstance. Explain it to the viewers what transpired there.
He just got a little sloppy with the golf club and fell out of his hand. His unfortunate break, and that it hit the golf ball. So he's deemed to have moved the golf ball. You know, everything's going all right. He's taking some relief right there, and just. Are you kidding me? I mean, of all the places that shaft could have fallen, it hits the ball. He's made it move. What do you got to do? You got to replace it. Rules official had a little bit of a smile on his face. That might have been a mistake. Fortunately, Scott didn't see it, but you got to put it back. You got to take a 1-stroke penalty, and it's just a bad break.
Here's what I can't imagine. How did that driver not break in half? Amazing. That was a pretty violent strike on the ground.
But it was. But the crazy thing about this is that in the sport that we play and love, that is such an easy mistake for anyone to make.
Sure.
But of course, you rarely see it. That could have happened to anyone on the fairway, on a putting green, but he was just careless. Unfortunately, it cost him a penalty stroke. And at this stage of the season, Charlie, knowing where he is in the Charles Schwab Cup points list, knowing that him and Bernhard Langer really are the two trying to vie for this, it was could be a costly mistake. Do you think it might carry over into today, or has he put that one to bed last night?
You know, Scott's been into this game for a long time, and he's had a long, successful career, and you know, you get mad about it, and you probably carry it with you to dinner, but you go to bed, you get up the next morning, and you just got to put it behind you. And in fact, he might have put it behind him after he slammed that club there, you know, afterwards. And you know, he clearly wasn't mad at the rules official. He's mad at himself for letting that club fall out. But it's one of those rules. I mean, really? I mean, and you put the ball back where it was. Is there any damage done? It's one of those rules that, you know, it exists. Everybody knows it's there, but I'm not so sure it's a great rule.
Yeah, he ended up.
What he did, I don't know that it's necessarily.
I don't think a lot of people in local clubs would be penalizing themselves.
Sure that's the case.
Common sense sometimes could prevail. We'll see. Ended up costing him as a stroke, as we said, and he bogeyed the closing hole. Let's get, though, to what else is happening now. And Yoon Hee Ji holds a 6-stroke lead after 3 rounds at the Swinging Skirts LPGA Taiwan Championship. The 2009 U.S. Women's Open champion is 10 under par total after her 3rd round 69 at Miramar Golf Country Club. At 10 under par, the Republic of Korea native leads Lydia Ko and Jenny Shin. You can see here Lydia Ko, amazingly, the former world #1, is looking for what would be her 3rd win in this event. An American, Christy Kerr, is part of a large tie for 4th at 3 under par. Gary?
All right, what about the tee sheet on this Saturday morning? We're going to be with you till the top of the hour, and then it's going to be European Tour coverage. Well, who are the Schwab Cup contenders? We know that Bernhard Langer is not going to give it up easy. He's going for 4 straight. He opened with 67. He's tied for the lead. So we'll talk about that. We all do a fair amount of travel, some more than others. Well, Dr. R is going to stop by to help you dealing with travel, to make you get off a plane, get to a hotel, and not feel like you've been beaten with a billy club. And then finally, Justin Thomas, he's the player of the year, the reigning player of the year on the PGA Tour. I got his goals early in the year last year after he completed the double in Hawaii. What are his goals for this season as it's already underway? And again, we have a new member of the family. Mrs. Banks is in the house.
I'm still the same person. Charlie!